let's talk about app interoperability. So what's that? That's a fancy nerd term for saying how does one app or one program communicate with another program, even if they are written in different languages. This is a question that was put to me in email, and somebody actually posted a question related to that. I said, how can you communicate or send one object from one system to another system if they're from a different language? So there are different strategies that have been put forth over the years. What has come out the winner is using a simple JSON objects, JSON, JavaScript object notation. JSON is short for that. And it's just this text file that breaks down the object, the structure of the object, and any values that the object may be holding. It's just a simple string. Maybe I'll post a snapshot of what it is. So remember, when you're looking at any type of apps, whether it's one self-contained app or whether it's apps being hosted, parts of the apps being hosted on different servers through use of, let's say, a microservices type of architecture. At the end of the day, when you're communicating information between apps, typically what you're going to do, especially if they're apps from different with different programming languages or different infrastructures, you're probably just going to communicate with a string-based object, like a JSON object. In the 90s, XML was all the rage. We used to create these XML text documents. XML objects were used to convey object information between disparate systems. That's the technical way of putting it. Basically, they would write these text files in XML format. You can look that up if you want. It's not that important these days, really, for the most part. And that's how we would exchange data. Now, the problem with XML, there was so much information in the XML structure, it became like there was more XML than there was object information. It was very heavy duty. It was kind of a silly way, although it was better than previous ways that we used to do it in Java. I won't get into that. So JSON is pretty much the standards these days. If you want to send information from one system or one program or one app to another, you're probably just going to use JSON objects, which are just text-based objects if you understand your data types. If all this stuff is confusing, you got to do a beginner's course in programming, my WebStep course or my Python course. I'll help you out there. Anyway. So that's what it is. So if you want to send information from one system to the next, one program to another, even if they're different languages, they all support JSON, and you should be able to exchange information pretty easily that way. With StudioWeb 3, to extend its lifespan, we had actually created a separate app using another, it was PHP-based though, another PHP-based framework. We used Laravel. And we just used it to create a series of microservices. And these microservices would feed information back to the legacy StudioWeb 3, the StudioWeb app, which is really old code. And this way we were able to literally bypass some crappy old code that was part of the old StudioWeb. And it really helped with performance quite a bit. So that's an example rather how we use JSON to communicate between two different programs. If you look it up, it's actually not that difficult. And there you go. I think people new to the game, they would think of it, how should we transfer binary-based objects, basically encoded objects between systems, and how the systems decode the objects. Java used to do that, but it's a bit of a kludge a lot of the times. And it's probably beyond the scope of this vlog. That's pretty much it. I'm sweating pretty hard with the sun going down on my face here, so I will let you go.